boldip.com.
Hey there, my name is JD Hoofener. I'm the managing partner here at Bold IP Law Firm. I'm happy to be here today with you to talk about patent assignments and the transfer of ownership over that IP and the patent asset to one or more entities. And what does that mean for the inventor, the assignee, and the assignor in that transaction? We're going to go through a really fun example that's relevant to the recent holiday we just had at 4th of July. Before we get to that, I'll do a brief introduction about the law firm. We are Bold IP. We do patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secret law. We are attorneys that are business-minded and help our inventors and artists and creators think about the business side of their intellectual property first and always as they move forward and protect their IP, and how they're going to be able to leverage that in the market and make a profit on all the hard work they're investing in securing and protecting their intellectual property. On our website at boldip.com, we're giving away for free a copy of Bold Ideas, the Inventor's Guide to Patents. It's a simple read. I encourage any inventor, or if you know anybody that's thinking about inventing, pick up a copy today. It's a short read, just a 100-pager. It's got all the nuts and bolts that the inventors are going to need before they even talk with an attorney, or if they've just got questions about patents, or even what's the difference between a patent and a trademark. The book covers it. Our website's full of wonderful content. I encourage you to look there, as well as our Bold blog, which covers a wide range of IP. All of our patent attorneys and some of our interns this year are writing, so I encourage you to go to boldip.com, look at both our services and our blog. All right, let's dig into our topic for today, our Bold Bits discussion about patent assignments. So let's jump in without further ado. All right, we're back, and we're looking at the MPEP, and this is the Manual of Patent Examining Procedure. This is available, you can Google search this, it's publicly available information, and yes, it's highly dense. So if you want to get down to the absolute weeds of how to follow the rules with patent assignments and the records, where they're kept and what the rules are, this is where you'll go. So I wanted to show you this first for any of those listeners out there that are the detail-oriented types. You're going to want to go to section 300 of the MPEP. It's going to walk through all the rules and the different sections within the Code of Federal Regulations with respect to where those records are kept, how they're to be documented, who has access to them, and how the actual process goes. Who is involved? Is there an attorney? Is there money that changes hands? How does the assignment take place? This is all documented right here in section 300. It goes all the way through the remaining chapters of 300. They've got subsections as well. And so what we'll do is, we're not going to cover this in great detail. What I'm going to show you is a live example of a patent and look at an assignment and where you can actually go to view the information that you might need to decide whether or not there is an assignment at all, and how to recognize who the assignment was transferring from and to. Right? Those are the most essential parts of an assignment. So let's start with taking a look at our example patent. This is a precision fireworks display system for having a decreased environmental impact. And obviously quite timely, or just after the 4th of July. This patent, 5,339,741, was issued in 1994. The date necessarily, not all that important, but I wanted to find one that was at least fun and applicable to our recent holiday. Quite a few inventors, as you'll see. Okay, Thomas Craven, William Whitefield, Kyle Poor, Bruce Johnson, John Soggy, Michael Peterson, William Adamson, Ronald Froelich. Okay. And the assignee, you might recognize them, a small company out of California, the Walt Disney Company. Okay, so we're going to walk through what it means when those inventors did assign it and how you would recognize that if you needed to find out the details of that assignment. It could very well be that these were employees, as many states have a rule that even if there's no contract between employees and employers, that they're obligated, if the employees are working with the tools on the job, being paid for a task and are inventing while doing so, there's an obligation to assign that patent to the employer. And a lot of employers have gone above and beyond this and had inventors and their employees sign what are called invention assignment agreements. That's really more germane to employment law, but at a certain point, that's a very important point to not miss. So briefly looking at this invention just for fun, you can see kind of the recognizable Mickey Mouse fireworks here. So this display, if we dig into the patent a little bit, it actually talks about how the shell of the firework is actually dissipated and minimize the amount of shrapnel, the amount of actual debris that's output after the explosion. So feel free to take a look at that if you want, have some fun, look at this patent. The main purpose was just to show you where it's documented on the front of the patent that the assignee is listed. So if you're going to go do some more diligence, let's say you were involved in a transaction, or you want to do some real research to find out, okay, well, what happened? When did this transaction happen? How did the rights actually transfer? You're going to want to go to public pair, okay? And that's PAIR. And you can navigate to public pair by just typing into Google USPTO PAIR and log right in. And I'll go ahead and go through that now with you just so you have it. Let's go to Google and go to pair. Okay, public pair right here is the second link. And usually they'll make you do a capture. Okay, and what we have, we found this application, we can search by the patent number itself. Let's see if it'll let me type that right in. And just hit search, and here it comes, okay? Precision fireworks display system having a decreased environmental impact. That's the title of the invention. And this is a patented case. So across the top, you've got different tabs. And for our purposes today, we're looking at assignments. So the assignments is the last tab on this record, and so you can see, and it's quite small, I apologize if you can't read this, but there are actually 3 assignments in the history of this patent application and patented case. So you can see this first one was back in 1992. You can see the conveyance was an assignment of the assigner's interest. And so we see here almost all the inventors assigned. Okay, Craven, Whitefield, Poor, Johnson, Soggy, Peterson, and Adamson. Okay, the assignee was Walt Disney. And obviously there's an attorney present, a correspondent, and so they identify who the correspondent was and the address where the transaction took place. What's interesting, you can actually go look up the reel and frame number, and this is actually an electronic format for storing the record, and you can look that up into the records database. And we'll look at that in just a second. But what was interesting is I noticed that there was one inventor, Ronald Froelich, that actually assigned his rights at a later date. So it's hard to say what exactly happened, but it took about 2 months, almost 3 months, for Ronald Froelich to assign his rights to Disney. It could be that maybe Froelich was not necessarily an inventor, or there was a disagreement about ownership over the rights, but you can see it was actually a separate transaction, separate assignment to Walt Disney at this point. And then later in 1997, there was a corporate entity name change, and so the assignor, the one giving up rights, was Walt Disney Company, and the assignee who's getting the rights is called Disney Enterprises Incorporated. So within Disney, the hierarchy, they just decided to switch where the asset belonged. And so the assignee is really another word for the owner, the one who owns the right and has the enforceability over the patent right. Quickly here, we're going to go just check out the assignment database. So let's say we had this recording, this very first assignment, copy and paste the reel and frame number. And this is on https://assignment.uspto.gov/patent/index. And you can look up by reel and frame number, okay? And you can paste that in and make sure you don't have any spaces, and just do a quick search, and there it is. You've got all the details right there, all the inventors, when the agreement was executed, and who the assignee was with the address. Now, the actual assignment is confidential, and if you're not a member of the assignment, you're not going to be able to see it. But certainly could be requested, if there were like a court case or a need for a deposition, interrogatory of those sorts. But at least you have the full information right here about who it was that did transact and assign, give up the rights, and receive the rights. Thank you for tuning in for this version of Bold Bets. It's been my pleasure to talk with you about patent assignments. I'm J.D. Hoovener, Managing Partner at Bold IP Law Firm. Have a wonderful day. Go big, go bold.
Go big, go bold at boldip.com.